Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Today is an exciting day for a lot of reasons here in the greenhouse. First of all, we're excited to show you guys just how amazing all of our greenhouse plants are doing. But not only that, you guys, look what I have in my back pocket. My salt shaker. You know what that must mean later in this video. I can hardly wait.
You guys, we are just, well, we're just kind of shocked. I don't know why, but we're just kind of shocked how well everything is doing. So today we wanted to take you kind of plant by plant to show you just how well everything is doing. Along the way, we have some work to do, so we'll take you along with that work, a little bit of harvesting, a little bit of, plant maintenance, and
a little bit of eating.
Probably on your part for sure. And we're just really excited to share this with you guys. We planted most of these plants in the greenhouse in April. Now it is mid-June, so it's been about 2 months or maybe a little bit more that these guys have been growing. They're doing fantastic, and we can't wait to share everything with you.
So let's not wait anymore. Let's just start. We're going to go down all the rows of the greenhouse here, and we're just going to go plant by plant pretty quickly to show you how everything is doing.
We're going to start off with our big section of peppers. You guys, the peppers overall are doing fantastic. I know that they're all planted in these buckets, but they are so tall already. And I think these are the shortest plants out of all of them. We have some over here. I'm going to come back there, but we have some over here that are like way tall. It's super exciting. So before we get started, I just want to share with you just some general information real quick about the pepper plants and how we planted them, because I know otherwise there will be kind of a lot of questions as we go along. So these buckets, these are mineral tubs that cattle farmers buy, and during the winter there's like a protein supplement in here for the cows, and they lick it, and in the end all of these buckets are just empty, and a lot of farmers don't know what to do with them, and so they sell them or burn them or put them in the landfill, and we have been very blessed to find a source for these, and that's what we're using to plant in. Now the area here, they are 24 inches across at the very top. At the bottom it's about the same. There's not that much difference, and our peppers are planted 2 plants per pot. Okay, and inside of every one of these pepper pots we have a tomato cage, just for support. Okay, you really can't see this anymore from the outside because the peppers have just gotten so big and have kind of been growing in and out of them, but that's how we're supporting them, so that with the wind and things they don't fall over or break, and as they produce their fruits and get heavy they don't fall over and break. And so we've been using this kind of system or growing them next to a trellis for many years, and it works really well for us. I also want to mention that this year I did not top off any of our pepper plants. Last year I tried that. Many people think you get a much larger harvest doing that, and I really didn't feel like there was any difference. In fact, I feel like I got more peppers by not topping them off in the past. So none of these have been topped off. They've just been left to grow. Now last year I got criticism that I only planted 1 pepper plant per pot, that they should be closer together than that. This year I got criticism that I planted 2 per pot because it's way too close, and actually as I've looked into it, peppers really enjoy being planted closer together, like 10 to 15 inches apart, because they will hold hands. Their leaves will combine and they'll touch and provide a lot more shade for their fruit, which will prevent a lot of sun scald. Okay, enough talking, but I just wanted to kind of get that out there before we started. These plants up here in front, these are lipstick peppers. They will turn red. They're doing fantastic. This is like a snacking pepper, and I actually thought these were going to be much smaller. I thought these were going to be the size of a normal sized jalapeno pepper, but they are gigantic, and they are producing a ton. So even though we have 2 buckets, we've got 4 plants, and so far they're putting on a fantastic group or production of peppers. Next up are 4 plants, 2 buckets of natapenos. Natapenos are a not spicy jalapeno. They taste like a jalapeno, but they're not spicy. These are really good for snacking. Kevin likes to come out here and eat these. And he's already harvested several of them and eaten them as he's been out here in the garden. But you can see we've got a lot of good sized ones already. We've got a lot of teeny tiny ones. We've got blossoms. So I really think we're going to have a really great harvest of these also. The next section of these peppers are the bell peppers, and this year we're growing Ozark Giant bell pepper and California Wonder. This is our first year growing Ozark Giant bell peppers. They're doing really well. We've got quite a few fruits on. There's one pepper on the other side that's actually twice as big. They're doing really well. One thing that we've noticed about this variety though is that some of the leaves have gotten yellow kind of tips on them. And these are the only pepper plants that's happening to, so I'm not quite sure why. It doesn't seem to be affecting their growth or production. So far, they're doing fantastic. We're really happy about that. We do have some California Wonder bell peppers, which is kind of a tried and true variety of peppers. They're doing well also. And then you guys, of course, I planted my favorite red roasting pepper called Ajvarski, and I have several of them here. I just want to show you, this is exactly why I grow these peppers, okay? They aren't a bell pepper shape. They're more kind of triangular. These are the typical size. Maybe sometimes they get a little bit bigger than this. They will turn red and be very sweet, and they're perfect for roasting in the oven and using in, you know, a red roasted pepper Alfredo sauce or hummus. They're just so amazing. I love them. We have 4 plants in this area of these, and they're doing really well. Then comes the spicy part of the peppers. We have the traditional jalapeno. We grow Craig's Grande jalapeno. They are putting on some fruits, but not as many quite yet as some of the other peppers. We've got some smaller ones here, but they're producing lots of blossoms, so I do think they're going to put on a good harvest. I need a lot of salsa this year, so I need a lot of jalapeno. So I did plant, I think, 8 plants of the jalapenos, so we should be getting a bunch. Hopefully we should be getting a bunch. Next up in the spicy pepper area are the Sugar Rush peach peppers. Now they are doing fantastic, and actually a plant on the other side, it has way more peppers on it than this one, but you guys can see that we are going to have plenty of these peppers. These are thin-walled hot peppers. When they're ripe, they'll be like a light orange. So right now they're kind of, you know, yellowish green. They're not mature yet. But they're looking fantastic, and I have a feeling I'm going to have so many of these that I'm not going to know what to do with all of them. What's funny about some of these plants, and this one included, is that when they start growing their peppers, they're growing straight up in the air, and then as they get bigger and heavier, they kind of turn down like normal peppers grow. But those have been exciting to see. And lastly, in this area of peppers are these ají peppers. We got these seeds from one of the relatives of the original owners of this property that we own here. And so we thought we would plant some of these seeds for him. They're an ají plant variety from Peru. And we do have a few started. And most of them that you can see easily are on the other side. So we'll make sure to get a shot of those for you so you can see the way that they're growing and their size. So that is it for the peppers in this area. And I keep saying that because at the end of the planting season, I had a few extra plants that didn't end up going to the farmer's market, and some happened to be more of my favorite Ajvarski plants. And you you guys, a couple others are the Sugar Rush Peach. So I have 4 more Sugar Rush Peaches and 4 more Edgevarskis down at the other end. They're behind because they're younger plants, but they're also doing well.
Well, next up after the peppers, you guys, are one of my favorite things to grow here in the greenhouse. That is green beans. Now here in the greenhouse, we grow green beans just for fresh eating. Out in the garden is where we're growing green beans for canning and preserving. The ones here in the greenhouse are just for fresh eating. You guys, they are doing so well. We've already picked twice off of these, and we have more to pick today. We probably should have picked, honestly, a couple days ago because some of these are already getting a little too big, but I still like them anyway. So, these are contender green beans. We planted 4 buckets full of them, 5 plants per bucket, so 20 plants. And you guys, they're just going bonkers out here. I mean, look at this bean and just how amazing that bean is. I mean, what we're going to pick right now, I'll show you guys how many we get, but keep in mind that we're at, the beginning or almost mid-June, and we've already picked off these. We've been picking off these now for the last 2 weeks. So they're producing way before green beans out in the garden. In the garden, we wouldn't be getting green beans until probably mid-July. And in here, we're getting them already in mid-June. So awesome. It's one of the things that we really love about this Grower Solutions greenhouse is that, the jump start on the season just makes it worth it. All right, we're going to see how many we can get. We'll show you guys what we have when we're done. We're all done picking green beans, and you can see it was a nice harvest of green beans. I also took the opportunity to pick some jalapenos while we were out here, so I can have those with my lunch today. So now that we're done with green beans, we can keep moving on with the update on the greenhouse. You guys, next up are our cucumbers. This year we're doing the Market More cucumbers in the greenhouse. This is the first year we're doing these in the greenhouse, but this is the variety that we've always liked the best out in our actual garden. And you can see that they are doing fantastic in here. Just about maybe a week or so ago, we put up the trellis for them, and you can see they're climbing up the trellis. They're almost to the top of the greenhouse already. Now, I did want to mention that things like putting up this trellis, we don't do videos about every single thing that happens around the homestead, but a lot of this stuff we do share in our weekly newsletter that we put out. If you go to our website, you can sign up for our weekly newsletter. It's absolutely free. It's just an opportunity for us to share things that happen around the homestead that maybe we didn't have a camera with us at the time, or maybe it just didn't fit into a video anywhere, but that we still think you guys would enjoy knowing about. Things like us putting up this trellis. This is a trellis. We actually buy this material on a roll. We buy it on Amazon. It's in our Amazon shop. And you just kind of unroll it, attach it up at the top, and it hangs down at the bottom. And as the plants grow, it pulls on it, and it just works out really well. So go ahead and check that out. But you guys, look how great these cucumbers are doing. We're not ready to harvest any yet, although we do have a ton of baby ones on. And just today, I noticed the first cucumber that I think is going to be ready probably in 3 or 4 days. It's the first one that's getting a decent size. You can see it there. You guys, it's exciting to me. Anytime I can just come out to the greenhouse and be able to eat things fresh It's absolutely awesome.
So next up in the greenhouse are the okra. This year we are trying a container variety of okra in the greenhouse just to see how well it does. Normally out in the garden we grow the Clemson spineless okra, but that, you guys, that just gets gigantic in these giant trees. So we're trying this new variety. This is a hybrid called Baby Bubba, and it is doing really well. I know Kevin was concerned the other day that it's not getting very tall, and I had to remind him, hey, this is a container variety. I don't think it's going to get so big, but it is doing very well. We have 4 buckets, each with 2 plants in it, so we've got 8 plants, and they are doing really well. We're excited about it. Next to the okra are quite a few plants of zucchini. Now, zucchini can become very, very large plants, so I have been cutting back their leaves so that it doesn't shade out some of the other plants and so that it doesn't obstruct our pathway here, and it's been working really well. We have already harvested, I think, 7 zucchini off of these plants. They're doing really well. We have some droopiness here right now because they need to be watered, and we haven't watered yet today so that we could do some harvesting on leaves that are dry. But they're doing really well. I'm going to continue cutting back the big leaves as they produce. Number 1, it won't shade out the plants. Number 2, it will provide really great airflow so they don't get diseases. And number 3, it will draw more attention to the flowers for the pollinators. The pollinators need to see those bright flowers from outside of the greenhouse to come in and to pollinate these fruit. While we're here, I am going to grab a knife and harvest a couple of these zucchini that are ready so we can take those in the house with the green beans. That's a nice one. It's a little bit of a weird shape, but it'll eat really nicely. We got quite a few nice zucchini on the smaller side. I like to pick them small because then they're really nice for fresh eating. So it looks like we got 6 zucchini. That's a great little harvest. Here at the end of the row are those extra peppers that I was telling you about. They are farther behind because they're younger plants. Now that I'm back here, I realize that I actually planted 6 more Ajvarski plants and 3 more of the Sugar Rush Peach, and even though they're quite a bit smaller, I do have a really nice sized Ajvarski pepper on here, but also lots of blossoms and lots of little peppers happening. So it looks like we're gonna have a great pepper harvest. We definitely have plenty of pepper plants, so we're looking forward to how the rest of this pepper season goes.
So now it is finally time to see the tomatoes, you guys. It's going to be a great tomato year, I can just tell already. So let's start here at the back of the greenhouse and work our way back toward the front. So the very first tomato plant that we have here in the back is one actually that a subscriber of ours brought to the farmer's market to give us. It's called a bull heart tomato, and you can see it's got some nice sized tomatoes on. The plant is looking great. Nowhere near getting ready to harvest yet, but these are supposed to be heart-shaped tomatoes. So I'm excited to try those. It's something that I've never grown before, and this subscriber thought that it was going to be something I'd really enjoy. So I'm glad to have it. After that are the giant Domingo tomatoes. For those of you who've been following along since winter, you know that this year I'm doing an experiment to grow the world's largest and the world's smallest tomatoes. This plant here is supposed to be the variety that has the world record of tomato, which is the giant Domingo tomato. And you can see that there are already some nice sized tomatoes on these. And I'm just excited to see how they do. I will be saving seed from these this year so that hopefully in the future I can try them again. After that, we move into our Jet Stars. Now, for those of you who follow us, you know Jet Stars are the tomato we grow every year. It is our main tomato that we grow as a production type tomato. We absolutely love it just because they do well every single year. Now, I do have to tell you guys that we have some work to do out here with tomatoes without the camera rolling. You can see that it's time to tie some more of these up. It's time to do some more suckering, but you know, all of that just takes time, and there's a lot of things to do around the homestead. I did want to show you guys though that this year we've switched to a new type of tomato clip. If you've watched us in the past, you've seen us use a different type of clip in the past. And the reason we switched is because the ones that we had been using for the last several years weren't very easy to take off at the end of the year. And I think these are going to be quite a bit easier. I was able to buy these just on Amazon in bulk. I think I bought like 3,000 of them or something crazy. A big box of them, probably a lifetime supply, honestly. Now you can see on these that they have like little barbs here where they fold. And what that does is it grips onto the string when you're using a trellis like we use. So as you fold this, it's actually going to grip and hold on to the string. So like in this case, what we'll do is we'll bring our tomato plant over, and then we'll just clip that on like that, and that will stay snugly on the string, and it will hold the top of that tomato plant straight up so that it continues to grow up instead of wanting to fall over. Now you can see that these Jet Stars are just absolutely loaded with tomatoes. I mean, look at under here, some of the size of these already. And again, these, you know, these still have a lot of growing to do before we harvest. But these are some awesome looking tomatoes in there. Now I did notice though that down just a little bit, and some of the first Jet Stars down here, let's see, right here, look at this, you guys. We've got our first couple that are starting to ripen. I'd say maybe 3, 4, 5 more days, and those might be ready to pick. So, oh, come on, it doesn't get any more exciting than that. Now again, because of these being in the greenhouse, it has given us such a jump start on tomato season. Normally here where we live in southwest Missouri, we're not harvesting tomatoes until the end of July. And our main harvest of tomatoes doesn't really come until August. So to be almost ready to start harvesting tomatoes in mid-June is unbelievable. And we wouldn't be able to do it without having the greenhouse to give us that jump start on the season. All right, next up are paste tomatoes. First two plants here are Sarah's absolute favorite paste tomatoes. They're called Salvatierra Select. And you can see, I mean, look at the size of those already. And the Salvatierra Select get really big, which is what makes them an awesome paste tomato. If you're not familiar with the difference between slicing tomatoes and paste tomatoes, the difference is that the paste tomatoes are more dry inside. They don't have as many seeds, and they don't have as much water inside of them. So they're better for making things like pasta sauce.
Tomato sauce.
So they're better for making things like tomato sauce, tomato paste, things like that that require a drier consistency so you don't have to boil it down as long. So we've got the Salvatierra Select, and then after that we have the Amish paste. You guys, Sarah may have a new favorite after this year, I'm not sure. We did the Amish paste probably 5 years ago or so out in the actual garden, and they didn't do well at all. So to be honest, after that, we just never gave them another try. But so many of you have been telling us that the Amish paste is so good, and so we decided we'd give it another try, but this time inside of the greenhouse. And you guys, look at these plants. They're all the way up to the top of the greenhouse already, and they are just absolutely loaded with tomatoes. I mean, look at this. There's tomatoes all the way down this plant. So, like I said, we'll see at the end of the season. Sarah may end up having a new favorite variety of paste tomato in these Amish paste because they are looking fantastic. All right, now we're on to cherry tomatoes. The first plants over on this side here, I kind of did plants on this side and over on that side, different varieties. I've got 3 plants right here that are the Juliet cherry tomato. Now the Juliet are a hybrid, so that's the downside to the Juliet, is that you can't save seed from them because they are a hybrid. But the positive thing about the Juliets is that they do really well in the heat and in the sun. They don't crack like a lot of the other cherry tomatoes do, and they are just so prolific. So that's why I always grow them, even though I can't save seed from them. Now over on the other side here are the large red cherry. They are also very prolific and also do very well in the heat and sun without cracking, but they are an heirloom. And because of that, I can save seed from that. And because of that, they've become my favorite cherry tomato. And you can see, I mean, look at these clusters of tomatoes here. I mean, these are amazing. They will be, I'd say, about the size of a ping pong ball when they're ready to harvest. And they're just a perfect size to slice in salads or to just eat. I mean, they're just amazing. Now, I did notice that there are some Juliettes to pick today. I would like to say that you guys are getting to see me do my first tomato of the season, but I'll be honest, I already picked one tomato so far this year. It was a Juliette, and that was a short little video in our newsletter. So again, another reason to sign up for the newsletter, because sometimes things happen on a non-video day, but we still like to share them with you guys. But we're going to pick these Juliettes that are ready to harvest today anyway, because you can never have too many tomatoes. So you can see here, look at this cluster. This one's not quite ready yet, but this one is definitely ready. Here's another one over here. Now look at the size. For cherry tomatoes, I think these are perfect size cherry tomatoes. And then we've got some down here. And I think this guy can stay for another day. I think that's it for the Juliettes. Just 5 of them, but you know what? That will be a nice addition to my lunch today. At least 4 of them will be, because you know me, I can't wait till lunchtime. I'm going to have one of these right now. Gosh. You guys, how can you not be happy when you're eating a homegrown tomato? And then the last tomatoes here in the tomato row are what are called tomberries, or at least what I was told were called tomberries. I'm starting to have my doubts, you guys. So again, this year I was trying to grow the world's largest and the world's smallest tomatoes. The world's smallest tomato is supposed to be a variety called tomberry, and I found some seeds from someone on Etsy who said they had tomberry seeds, and that's what I bought. But now that they're actually starting to come where they're starting to ripen, I'm not sure that these are really what they said they were, or they cross-pollinated or something, because, I mean, they're a small tomato. They're a small cherry tomato. You can see here, and you can see here's one that's ready to harvest. But you guys, these are supposed to be about the size of a blueberry. You're supposed to be able to fit like 8 to 10 of them on a tablespoon. And that's definitely not what's happening with these tomatoes. So I'm not really sure how I feel about these just yet. Now, I haven't tried eating any yet, so I'm going to try one here for you guys, because they might be the most delicious tomato I've ever had. Okay, they're not as good as the Juliette, I'll tell you that right now. They're more acidic. If you like a more acidic tomato, then these are good. But I like a little bit, I like a balance. I don't like a really sweet tomato, but this is a little too acidic for me. I'm going to try one more. They're definitely not bad, but they're not as good as the Juliettes or the larger cherry, I can tell you that. So you guys, at the end of the day, I'm not sure I got the seeds that I thought I was getting, and you take that chance when you just buy seeds from an individual on Etsy. I'm not saying someone did something dishonest. I'm just saying that it doesn't appear that this is the world's smallest tomato. The other thing is that these are the only plants out of our entire row of tomatoes that are starting to get some type of disease on the leaves. It started at the bottom and it's working its way up. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet. You guys, I may end up just pulling these out, because I don't want whatever this disease is to spread to the rest of our tomatoes. And since these aren't looking like they are ending up being what I was told they were, I'm not sure I'm going to keep them around. So anyway, that's where it is with those tomatoes. I'll probably keep them in here for a little bit longer. I might try spraying them with some neem oil or something if this is some type of fungus. That might help. But if it doesn't, I'll probably end up pulling these out, because I do want to keep the other varieties doing well. all in all, I'm super pleased with how all of the tomatoes are doing in the greenhouse, with the exception of these tomberries. Everything is looking amazing. I can't wait for the day where, I mean, it's fine to come out and pick 4 or 5 cherry tomatoes, but I'm looking forward to the day when I come out here and pick 10 pounds of cherry tomatoes, and I can just go sit on the porch and eat as many as I want. That will be a good day, and it's coming soon.
The final plants to show you in the greenhouse are the basil plants, and they're doing really well, you guys. Look at how big and bushy these guys are. Now, I only planted 1 plant per pot. I didn't think after I planted them that I had enough. I thought maybe I should have done 2 plants, but this is just the beginning of the growing season for basil. The hotter it gets, the bigger the plants get, and the more harvest I get out of them. So they're doing really well. Now, it's at this point that I really need to cut these basil plants back by 2/3. I only leave 1/3 of the plant on here, so I will cut them back to here and make a ton of pesto. I'm going to be doing that soon. I hope to bring you guys along when I do that and do a video. I love pesto. It freezes amazingly, and I might just put some in the freeze dryer too.
We are just so pleased with how everything is doing in the greenhouse so far this year. If how it's starting has any indication of how the rest of the season's going to be, we are going to be drowning in produce in no time.
And it is really so fantastic that in the middle of June, we are picking an entire basket full of fresh veggies that we consider summer veggies, not spring or winter or fall veggies, summer veggies to bring into the house for lunch and for dinner. It really is amazing.
Yeah, it's a whole month early compared to anything we'll be picking outside. We love showing you guys what's going on here. We love just giving you updates and showing you that there is a different way to live. You can raise a lot of your own food, and that, you know, there is a healthier way to live.
You guys, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And remember that the best way that you can help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.